On our wedding night, he left me for a farewell phone call, wanting to reserve his first time for his childhood sweetheart. I don't want to look back in the future and only have regrets. Everyone thought I would continue to endure in silence. I coldly replied to him, no need to wait until later, this is a gift for your wedding night. Wishing you a happy marriage. The banquet had just ended, and I couldn't contain my excitement as I hurried to the wedding room. Just thinking that the person I pursued for 7 years is now my husband makes me feel invigorated, as if I'd been given a shot of adrenaline. Just as I went upstairs, I happened to see Harrison opening the door. I thought he had come out to greet me, which made me walk even more gracefully. Harrison, I'm back. But he didn't see me at all. He didn't even hear me calling him. He was completely focused on talking to the woman on his phone. I don't know what was said over there, but before he even came in, I heard him urgently say, Sophie, please don't go yet. I want to give you my first night before we part ways. I was instantly stunned in place. My mind roared like it had been struck by lightning, and my face turned a shade of pale green and white. I know that Sophie is Harrison's childhood sweetheart. Even after the two broke up, Harrison still can't forget Sophie. He had left me countless times because of a text or a call from Sophie. Even our Valentine's Day was celebrated by them. And I, like an unfaithful third party, hid in the shadows, secretly watching them date, shop, share couples' meals, and stay in a big bedroom. I have endured it all. Because I know that to maintain this relationship, I must be humble enough. But I didn't expect that Harrison would actually give his first time to Sophie. Today is our wedding night. I was so angry that my whole body trembled, my eyes were red, and I couldn't hold back my fury as I shouted at him, Harrison, what are you doing? Harrison turned to look at me, feeling guilty and wanting to put down his phone. But in an instant, he remembered our positions and naturally informed me, Lily, I have something to take care of outside. If I hadn't heard what he just said, I might still be able to deceive myself like this. I clenched my fists tightly and reminded him, today is our wedding night. Harrison instantly became unhappy, Lily, don't mess around, I have something very important to do. If it were in the past, I would definitely have gone along with him. But now, I don't want to be weak anymore. Out of anger, my voice uncontrollably rose, the important thing you're talking about is giving your first time to Sophie? Harrison, I am your wife, your first time should belong to me. But at that moment, Sophie's voice suddenly came from the phone, maybe it's better to just forget it, you are already her husband now. Harrison ignored me, and in a panic, I pleaded pitifully, don't leave me, Sophie, I'll be right there. He didn't even notice that I was angry. Because in his eyes, it didn't matter whether I was angry or not, in the end, it was still me who had to put on a face and ask for his forgiveness. He resented me for wasting his time, and after finishing the call, he shot me a fierce glare before rushing out the door in a hurry. What are you going crazy about? Alright, I'm in a hurry, so I won't talk to you for now. I watched him hurriedly abandon me, just to rush over and offer his first time. The blood in my body instantly turned cold. 7 years of sincere pursuit ultimately could not withstand a single word from the other person. The friends who had not yet left saw Harrison running and quickly came to find me. It's fine, it's just the first time. There will be many more times in the future. You've endured for 7 years already, so what's one more time? They thought I would continue to endure with a calm mindset. But I looked down at the text Harrison confidently sent, I don't want to look back in the future and only have regrets. He suddenly smiled. It turned out that giving his first time to Sophie was his dream. The reason I was able to endure it before was that I knew Harrison would kiss Sophie and go to a hotel with her, but he hadn't actually gotten together with her yet. I thought he had me in his heart and wanted to reserve our first time for our wedding day. But I was wrong. He wants to leave me what Sophie has left over to play with. I replied with a cold smile under my friend's gaze, no need to wait until later, I'll give this to you on your wedding night. Wishing you a happy marriage. Harrison didn't reply to me. Sophie did send me a message. It was a video of Harrison actively catering to her affections. His flushed face was full of happiness, as if he wished he could die in Sophie's embrace. Sophie deliberately paused her movements. Is that how you want to give me your first time? Harrison served her with a pleasing demeanor. I want to save my first time for the most important person to me, Sophie, and giving it to you, I don't feel it's a regret. Thanks, sister. Your husband's first time was quite enjoyable. Tonight, I'll help you explore it all over again, so if you have any questions in the future, feel free to ask me directly. Sophie's words were simply mocking my incompetence. My newlywed husband ran to another woman's bed, willingly offering his first time. I didn't dare to look further down, my stomach was churning violently. Before turning off my phone, I heard Harrison's sticky voice, and I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I vomited. Actually, before replying to Harrison's message, I had a glimmer of hope in my heart. I have genuinely liked him for so many years and have given so much for him, hoping that Harrison would see what I sent and come back. But little did I expect that in such a short time, he was already in Sophie's bed. No wonder he didn't have time to reply to me. It turns out I was busy giving away my first time. I suddenly feel that my actions over the past 7 years have been a joke. I devoted myself entirely to his well-being, yet he shamelessly made love to someone else on our wedding night. I returned to the marital home in despair. Looking at the carefully arranged room, I suddenly found it very glaring. In order to give Harrison an unforgettable wedding, I started making arrangements 2 months ago. The wedding attire was all custom-made by high-end designers. The ring is something I personally polished after my studies. In order to engrave our names, we have endured countless injuries and shed an unknown amount of blood. I looked at the ring on my hand that Harrison had reluctantly put on, and laughed mockingly. I suddenly remembered that half a month ago, when I was showing off my achievements to Harrison with my bandaged hand, he wasn't worried. Instead, he scolded me for having too much free time. It now seems truly unnecessary. I took it down and casually tossed it into the trash can, along with the wedding photo from the bed. The servant was instructed to take away all of Harrison's belongings. A person is sleeping on the wedding bed. I want to fall asleep quickly, but my mind can't help but think of Harrison. The heart is unwilling and filled with immense pain. The long-awaited wedding night has become a wedding dress for another woman. I curled up in grievance, letting the cold night wind erode me. Harrison made a lot of calls early in the morning. Seeing that I didn't respond, they frantically sent a bunch of messages. Lily, are you out of your mind? I've already said I just want to have no regrets, so why are you making a scene? I'm your husband, what do you mean by wishing me and Sophie a happy marriage? And then you block me. I'm a bit tired right now, come pick me up, and I'll just pretend nothing ever happened. I looked coldly at the last sentence Harrison sent. I don't know where he got the nerve to send that. I didn't reply and blocked his phone number as well. I packed my things and went to work. I don't know who spread the word, but the whole company knows that Harrison left me on our wedding night and gave his first night to his ex. I've been called brainless, and even though I'm married, my husband is cheating on me. Some people say I'm infatuated, my husband is openly riding on top of me, shouting, and I'm still enduring it. Although it's unpleasant to hear, being scolded a bit more is better, it saves me from being as foolish as I was before. Just after finishing the meeting with them, the butler called me. Madam, Harrison returned home to find that all his belongings were gone, and he smashed everything in the house. I was stunned. I didn't expect that Harrison would actually know to come back. I thought that without me picking him up, he would stay at Sophie's and not come back. After all, he never found the opportunity to reconcile with Sophie since they met, and now there's me, his current girlfriend. It was not easy for him to take this step with Sophie, how could he bear to miss it? I'll be back soon. Let him keep throwing, have someone note down all the broken items. I instinctively wanted to say to go back immediately, but as the words were on the tip of my tongue, I realized and changed what I was going to say. Once, no matter what happened to Harrison, I would rush to him at the first moment. But I am tired now. Let Harrison do whatever he wants, he doesn't deserve my true heart at all. Not long after, the butler called me again. Madam, Harrison is angry and says he wants to run away from home. Don't worry about him. I didn't return home until I finished work at noon. Harrison didn't leave, he had already taken a nap and was leaning on the sofa, looking at me with a sideways glance of annoyance. Lily, come over and give my shoulders a rub. He lazily leaned against that, pouting and playfully scolding a few words, yet his face was full of sweetness. I was exhausted all night yesterday, Sophie was too much, insisting on trying out those poses. And you, not understanding at all, are throwing a tantrum with me. I didn't move, my eyes unable to tear away from the marks on his body. The traces left by Sophie were numerous and deep. They were glaring and made me feel nauseous. Just thinking about what Sophie said last night made me take a deep breath, and I barely held myself back from rushing over and slapping him. Harrison seemed to just realize that exposing the marks was unfair to me, and he awkwardly used a pillow to cover them up. In a softer voice, somewhat haughtily, she said to me, "What are you still dawdling for? Didn't you hear me speaking? Lily, I'm giving you a way out here. After this, even if you beg me, I won't easily forgive you again." I have lost my temper more than once because of his relationship with Sophie. No matter whether I was right or wrong, in the end, I was the one who softened my attitude and apologized to him first. Because I hoped to walk with him towards the altar of marriage. Harrison thought that giving me a little sweetness this time would allow him to easily brush it aside like before. Even if he ended up in bed with someone else. But this time I don't want to be wronged anymore. Harrison, this is my home, please get out. Before the wedding, Harrison said he was a bit afraid of marriage and didn't want to get the marriage certificate in advance, so I agreed to him. I secretly felt sad about it for a long time. I never expected that I would have to thank him for not wanting to get the certificate early, which saved me a lot of trouble. Lily, are you crazy? Harrison looked at me in disbelief. Am I wrong for wanting to live my life without regrets? Do you have to make a fuss about it? He actually still thinks he is not at fault and instead blames the mistake on me. I was so angry that I laughed, my heart felt both heavy and painful. Since you think it's a regret to give me your first time, then don't be with me anymore. Just be with Sophie, and that would be perfect. Saying this is not just out of anger, with his temperament, once there is a first time, there will be countless times. If I compromise, it would be equivalent to agreeing to his infidelity. Harrison got angry and threw a pillow hard at my face. This time I didn't just stand there foolishly, I dodged to the side. Harrison didn't expect me to hide, and he stomped his foot in anger, his face turning red. A sharp voice echoed in the hall, "Do you still dare to hide? Do you really think I won't leave? I'm leaving right now. If you have the guts, then don't beg me to come back." After seeing him clearly, I suddenly felt that his demeanor was simply that of a reckless troublemaker. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. Someone who has completely betrayed me really thinks I can't do without him. I haven't degraded myself to that extent. I still care about my dignity. I casually glanced at the things he had broken in the hall and called out to him, "Wait a minute." Harrison thought I would beg for his forgiveness like before, crossing his arms, holding his head high with pride, unwilling to even give me a glance. He still maintained an air of authority, prompting Aunt Zhang, who was waiting nearby, to come over and assist him. "I'm regretting it now. If it weren't for me feeling unwell, you would be scolding me. I am tired of his routine of blaming me for the mistakes and then generously allowing me to atone for them." You interrupted him, saying, "Compensate for all the damaged items in the building before you leave, otherwise, I will sue you for intentional property damage." Harrison's slow reaction finally registered, and the smile on his face faltered. "Lily, what did you just say?" I coldly repeated, "Compensate for the damaged items before you leave, or I will call the police." Turning around, I reminded Aunt Zhang, "You are a member of the Liu family, it's not your place to do work for an outsider." Aunt Zhang watched me grow up and knows what kind of person Harrison is. She never liked him to begin with. Especially for the sake of marrying him, I even severed ties with my parents, yet on our wedding night, he abandoned me and gave himself to another woman for the first time. Now that I see him awake, he is so delighted that he can't close his mouth and immediately lets go of him. Harrison probably didn't expect me to actually come, his face turned pale uncontrollably, and he trembled as he asked me, "Lily, what do you mean? Don't you want me anymore?" "Harrison, don't take mine first." Harrison rarely softened towards me, feeling wronged. "What nonsense are you talking about? How could I not want you? I just want to make sure I won't have regrets in the future." Why do you have to hold on to this so tightly? Is this how much you love me? You don't even want to help me fulfill my wishes. This morning, I almost got into a car accident just to rush back. I didn't think that just because I disagreed with his betrayal, it would make him question my love for him. What do all my years of effort amount to? Am I just a dog that comes when called and leaves at a wave? I endured the bitterness in my heart and interrupted him with a blank expression. What does it have to do with me? You should talk to Sophie, not me. Harrison has never bowed his head before. Today, feeling wronged with me, is already his greatest concession. Seeing my resolute attitude, he felt embarrassed and coldly threw down the unlimited bank card I had once given him. Habitually warning me, Lily, I don't know where you learned to play this game of feigned indifference with me. In the future, when you ask me for something, don't say I never gave you a chance. I will never ask him again. It's impossible for this lifetime. I had Aunt Jean call someone to clean the house. Especially the places Harrison had touched. Who knows if he brought anything else back with him. I find it dirty. The villa's password has been changed again. Harrison's heart has never firmly been with me. He can never remember my birthday, no matter how many times I've told him, he always forgets. There were even a few times when they lost track of Sophie's birthday right in front of me. I turned pale, but Harrison remained unfazed and scolded me. Whose fault is it that your birthday is so hard to remember? But my birthday happens to be on Valentine's Day. He can remember to take Sophie out on a date that day, yet he can't remember my birthday. What a ridiculous reason. It's just that they don't take me seriously. Later, I specifically changed the villa's password to his birthday. Looking back now, I realize I was quite foolish. I posted a status on my moments, declaring that I broke up with Harrison. The wedding held was not valid, but the matter of Harrison's infidelity was not brought to light, which can be considered as leaving the other party with a final shred of dignity. My mom quickly called me upon hearing the news and gave me a scolding. However, what I feel most relieved about is that I was able to awaken to this realization. Friends who are closer congratulated me on escaping the sea of suffering. I feel like I'm just putting on a show for those who enjoy the spectacle, wanting to continue watching my misfortune. They even called me, "Did you really break up with Harrison? You're not joking, are you?" The background noise on the other end was chaotic. I guess they were at a bar, maybe even betting on my relationship with Harrison again. After all, in our circle, most young ladies from wealthy families are quite fickle, and there are few like me who are so devoted. I loved Harrison for several years, and for several years, I was mocked by them. I pinched my brow and replied to her, "Really?" Over there, someone deliberately elongated their voice and said, "You really don't like him anymore? If you don't like him, I'll pursue him. He's right next to me, aren't you afraid I'll sleep with him? Whatever you want. As long as he agrees, you can play however you like, it has nothing to do with me." Although hearing such words can still be somewhat painful, after coming to my senses, it is much better than before. Harrison is not worth my time and effort at all. On the wedding night, he ran off to devote himself to another woman, and now he's covered in marks, heading to a bar. What does it matter to me? Harrison's brother called me and scolded me harshly. I didn't pay any attention. In the middle of the night, Sophie called me again. I'm so tired, I want to hang up, but I accidentally pressed to connect. As soon as the call connected, Harrison's voice came through, sticky and sweet. "Sophie, you're still good to me." It was expected that Harrison would be with Sophie. However, the good mood that had just eased was gone again. I asked coldly, "What do you want to show off by calling me in the middle of the night?" Sophie, as always, flaunted to me, "Sister, if you don't come to pick up Harrison, he's been drinking and won't leave me alone. I only satisfied him once, and now he's asking me again, which is really bothering me. Since there's something I don't understand, I can talk to you about it. There's no need to be angry just because he gave his first time to me. We're all women, so why hold grudges? Who knows, maybe we'll even be together in the future." I could guess what the rest of the conversation might be. It was too filthy for my ears, so I hung up the phone directly. I don't know any Harrison. Afraid that someone might disturb my mood, I blocked all the people who needed to be blocked in one go. After taking care of everything, I decided to go out and clear my mind. Just then, there was a project that required me to travel out of the province on a business trip. My mom still doesn't feel at ease with me, and I don't know where she found a male secretary who studied psychology to put by my side. You young people have common topics. If there's anything inconvenient to say to me, you can tell him. I felt a bit helpless, but I didn't refuse my mother's good intentions. This is the first time in the years I pursued Harrison that I'd been away from him for such a long time. I used to worry about doing something wrong that would upset him, always being cautious, but now I no longer need to please him, and my mood has never been this relaxed. On the contrary, Harrison couldn't sit still. After being away on a business trip for a week, he saw that I had blocked him and his brother, so he borrowed someone else's phone to send me a message. At first, he questioned where I had been and who the man in the photos on my social media was. Seeing that I was ignoring him, he unexpectedly took the initiative to admit his mistake, saying he would never dare again and hoped I could forgive him. He suggested that when I returned from my business trip, we would go get our marriage certificate. I saw the words "getting a marriage certificate" and no longer felt any joy, only a sense of absurdity. I simply changed my phone number, afraid he would message me again and disturb me. Finally, it was quiet in my ears. Lucas appeared by my side at some point and said to me, "It seems he regrets it." I do not believe that Harrison would regret for me. Impossible. I had imagined this scene countless times, each time wanting to argue with Harrison about Sophie, hoping to make him keep his heart with me, but each time I was left disappointed, feeling like a joke. Lucas seriously analyzed with me, "You loved him for 7 years. Even if there are no feelings, suddenly letting him go, he won't be able to accept it. Or perhaps this is an opportunity for him to understand his own heart." For a moment, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. What I had longed for even in my dreams, I now no longer wanted, and yet I had obtained it so easily. If that's really the case, I hope you can help me put on a show. I didn't expect that after changing the password to the villa's gate, Harrison would still be able to get in. Aunt Jean told me that he came in by entering the password, and by the time we found him, he was already in the kitchen cooking with the groceries he had brought. So dreamy. It makes me wonder if it's all just a dream. He actually remembered my password. Harrison just came out holding a bowl of bone broth. Seeing me, he quickly set the soup down, standing awkwardly in place, shyly looking at me. "Lily, you're back. Who is he?" I could catch a glimpse of Lucas beside me, and the pleasing expression on his face instantly faltered. I gave Lucas a sidelong glance. He immediately understood, wrapped his arm around mine, leaned his whole body against me, and said ambiguously, "I am Lily's boyfriend. Who are you? Why are you in my house?" Harrison looked at us in disbelief, his pale face showing obvious panic. He quickly took off his gloves and ran to my side, wanting to pull Lucas away. "Your home? What nonsense are you talking about? This is my home with Lily." Lucas is not someone easy to deal with. The more I pull away, the more he burrows into my embrace, playfully pouting and acting coy, deliberately going against Harrison's wishes. Harrison's face turned red with anger, and he instinctively wanted to lash out, but then he seemed to think of something and looked at me pitifully, showing weakness. "Lily, are you still mad at me? I've thought it over these past few days. It's my fault for leaving you. Look, I've already apologized to you. Can you forgive me?" For more than half a month, he realized that he shouldn't abandon me, yet he still couldn't figure out what it was that I truly cared about. I shook him off and held Lucas close to me. "Harrison, I've made it very clear to you that we have no relationship anymore. Can you please stop entangling me?" Harrison's eyes turned red. "You're talking nonsense. You've loved me for 7 years, how could you possibly not like me anymore? Is he someone you brought in to act? Trying to make me jealous and regretful? I already know I've made a mistake. What more do you want from me? How you are is none of my business, but he is my boyfriend, so please don't say anything that might make him misunderstand." I pulled Lucas upstairs. Passing by the dining table, I saw the meticulously prepared dishes, but I couldn't muster any appetite. I coldly reminded him, "Throw all of this away, I doesn't like it." Harrison completely lost control of his emotions and collapsed to the ground. He shouted uncontrollably, "Lily, that was the dish I spent all morning making. How could you make me throw it away because of another man?" I didn't turn back. The video of you and Sophie that night, she showed it to me. Now, every time I see you, I can't help but think of that video, and I can't help but feel nauseous. Stop disgusting me. Harrison was unwilling to leave. Aunt Jean couldn't pull him away, and the butler called a few people to chase him off, but he refused to leave no matter what. Seeing that Lucas and I were staying in the room, they stood guard at the door, afraid that Lucas and I would do something. Lucas, looking like a seasoned player in the game of love, said to me, "He's been spoiled by you. If you don't keep it going, he'll only think you're trying to make him jealous, making him feel like there's still a chance to win you back." I thought for a moment and felt he was right. So I immediately looked for sound effects. Before putting it on, I told him, "If you cooperate well, I'll give you a raise." Lucas gave me an okay sign with his hand. "All right, boss." Just as it began, there was a knock at the door. Harrison was outside, screaming in frustration, wishing he could smash the door open. "Lily, what are you doing? Stop it. Didn't you say you would never betray me? Why are you sleeping with another man? You're doing this on purpose to get back at me, aren't you?" It turns out Harrison couldn't accept me sleeping with others either. Yet he could take it for granted that I would accept him giving himself to someone else for the first time. Things that do not happen to oneself can never truly be felt as pain. Lucas didn't stop, rolling more intensely on the bed, breathless as he spoke. "Lily, you're so tight." I sat in the chair, watching him perform, occasionally responding to him with a few words. Harrison's voice was tinged with tears. "Lily, I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Please don't punish me like this anymore. I know I was wrong." I thought it was about time to make Lucas stop, but he got carried away, working diligently until midnight, only stopping when his voice went hoarse. He whispered to me, "Boss, remember to give me a raise." Harrison left in the dead of night, lost and despondent. He heard from others that shortly after he returned, he received a message from his brother, and he completely fell apart. Sophie posted a video from her wedding night on a well-known website. The title was explosive, directly stating that the groom ran away from the wedding just to seek out a woman to deflower. The video has not been censored at all, and the view count has already surpassed 1 million. Many of my friends around me have already seen it, and some have even downloaded the video and are spreading it wildly. Many people added him on WeChat, sent him videos, and then asked him how much he would charge for such services. Harrison couldn't stand the harassment any longer. In a moment of breakdown and despair, he called Sophie, only to find that he had been blocked. My good sisters, upon hearing this, pulled me out for drinks to celebrate. Ending up like this is really a case of reaping what you sow. Luckily, you didn't continue with her this time, otherwise, the embarrassment would have been doubled. I didn't say a word and silently took a sip of my drink. I couldn't express what it felt like inside. I had looked into what kind of person Sophie was a long time ago, and I had told Harrison more than once about her true nature. But Harrison never believed me and even claimed that the evidence I had worked so hard to find was forged. This situation was entirely created by him. After finishing the last drink, I was about to head home when Harrison's brother suddenly appeared in front of me, grabbing onto me and not letting go. "Lily, something happened to Harrison. You should go save him." I coldly turned my face, "Let go." His brother saw that I remained unmoved and directly knelt down in front of me. "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have scolded you before without understanding the situation, but Harrison is really in danger now. He was taken away by Sophie's people to a hotel, and only you can save him. I'm begging you." I closed my eyes, but ultimately I couldn't bring myself to be completely ruthless. By the time I arrived, it was still too late. Harrison was bleeding heavily, left unattended in the room by Sophie and her group of sisters. I called for an ambulance. Harrison covered his face, unable to look at me, sobbing uncontrollably. "Lily, it was my fault before, I misjudged people." I wanted to confront her, but not only did she humiliate me, she also threw me to others. "I should have listened to you long ago, I was just too foolish." I didn't say a word, waiting for the ambulance to arrive. As the staff carried Harrison away, he carefully tugged at my clothes. "Lily, I'm scared. Can you come with me?" I coldly shook him off. "With your brother by your side, my presence is unnecessary." Harrison cried even harder, as if he were about to die. Lily. I ignored it. After throwing away the clothes that Harrison had dirtied, I went home. There were always gossipers around me, and before long, someone told me that Harrison's lower body was rotting, and he probably would never be able to rise again. I had long lost all expectations and fantasies about Harrison. I had even less interest in what happened to Harrison afterward. Because my mom has started urging me to go on blind dates, one every day, fearing that I won't be able to find a husband because of what happened with Harrison. I was very irritated, so I had Lucas help me as a shield while I threw myself wholeheartedly into my work. While working overtime and reviewing documents, Lucas called me, "Lily, guess who I saw today?" "Who?" "Harrison. He made me leave you and even tempted me with money." I was momentarily at a loss for words. Don't mind him. I thought this matter would pass, and Harrison would be able to let go and see things more clearly. But I didn't expect that after he was discharged from the hospital, he would completely cling to me. Early in the morning, they rushed to the company to bring me breakfast, a smile on their face as if nothing had ever happened. No matter whether I ignored him or scolded him with a cold face, he stubbornly insisted on seeing me off without any shame. "I know how wrong I was this time. You chased me for 7 years, and now it's my turn to chase you." I also bought things for the other employees in the company. It made everyone in the company think that I had forgiven him again. I'm fed up, all the remaining goodwill I had for Harrison is gone. Harrison, however, felt nothing, and was explaining to me that his drunkenness that night was because I had unfairly told him I didn't want him anymore, not realizing that Sophie would show up. He thought the misunderstanding was resolved and romantically prepared a proposal scene, suddenly appearing to propose to me while I was overwhelmed and busy. "Lily, where's your wedding ring? Let me put it on for you." This is my first proposal, and although it's not as elaborate as what you prepared back then, everything was arranged by my own hands. I looked at him expressionlessly. "I lost the ring a long time ago. Harrison, can you please stop bothering me? Seeing you like this, all sentimental, makes me feel quite sick." Harrison's face instantly turned pale, as if he wanted to confirm something, and he softly said to me, "It's impossible. That was the ring you personally polished and carved for me. How could it be lost? You're still blaming me, aren't you?" "It's okay, as long as you can forgive me, I can endure anything." I laughed and suddenly asked him, "Harrison, are you a jerk? Don't fucking pretend with me, okay? Even if I die, I can never forgive you in this lifetime. Be smart and disappear from my world, don't let me see you again." Harrison's strength seemed to drain away in an instant. With a pale face, he knelt before me in despair, still unwilling to believe my words, trying to brainwash himself. "Lily, you're joking, right? Is it because of Lucas? Do you know what kind of person he is? His past private life." I took his words, very chaotic. "I know, so what? Unlike you, he would never cheat. Harrison, don't show up in front of me again. It's really quite disgusting. Every time I see you, I lose my appetite for the whole day." Harrison was utterly despondent, collapsing to the ground in tears. "I regret it so much. I destroyed the feelings between us with my own hands. I ignored him and increased the security personnel. Harrison never appeared again after he left. I heard about him again, and it was because he sued Sophie. But Sophie refused to admit her guilt and instead turned the tables to frame Harrison. Harrison was weak and outnumbered, and without any surprises, he lost the lawsuit. Sophie sought revenge on Harrison by suing him, hiring a few people to humiliate him, and deliberately posting the video online. In the days that Harrison disappeared, I don't know where he got my number, but he sent me a few text messages. "Lily, I'm sorry. If heaven could give me another chance, I would never let you down again. My greatest regret in this life is not being able to be with you." I finished watching it and deleted everything. If heaven truly opened its eyes, then don't let it happen again. It's quite good as it is now. The day after receiving the news, 2 bodies were discovered in the suburbs, those of Harrison and Sophie. The police found that the last text message on Harrison's phone was sent to me, as usual, calling me to come in and give a statement. I have said everything I know. After clearing my name, I returned to the company to continue working. The police investigated quickly, and Harrison's matter was soon brought to a close. And my life has just begun.